So this is exciting to be back here again for the rise of AI, and we've got a much larger event this year with so much more going on, which of course is just symbolic of the actual rise of AI, right? I mean, AI is pervading popular consciousness in every branch of industry and government and so on. It's quite exciting, and you know, it's a bit unique positioning for this talk I'm giving now, because the talk just before was really amazing, articulate, and eloquent in laying out a transhumanist vision for the future. And we heard about AI 500 years from now, and how AI will transform everything and upgrade our minds and give us the ability to reshape matter as we wish. So hopefully a bunch of you were here for this previous talk, because it means I don't have to explain all that. I mean, I think it should be clear that if we can get over a few small hurdles in the next few years and decades, if we really get superhuman AI that is, you know, orders of magnitude more intelligent than current human beings and is reasonably benevolently oriented toward other sentiences besides itself, then, you know, this is going to be amazing. It's going to give us nanotech and femtotech and cyborgs and mind uploading and whole new ways of individual and collective experience that we can't imagine now. And I really enjoyed the last talk summarizing this. And of course, everyone by now has also heard from Nick Bostrom, Elon Musk, the Terminator, and all the other dystopian possibilities and things that could go wrong if AI becomes advanced but has a malevolent or indifferent attitude toward other sentient beings, or even toward itself. So I really love that we now have people talking about these far future possibilities, you know, in Deutsche Telekom, in front of an audience of largely very practical people, rather than like a science fiction fan convention or something. I've been working on AI for, I guess, over 30 years now. I got my PhD in the late 1980s, and I mean, at that time, let alone in the early 1970s, when I first became enthused about these concepts from science fiction, these ideas were not being discussed in venues like this to audiences like this. So what I'm going to talk about now actually is a little more near-term and practical and short-term focused than the last talk, which is, it's not normal that I can say that. Usually I'm the furthest out guy. So, but what I want to talk about here is some aspects of how do we work now so that the AI we are creating now sort of serves not only to deliver, you know, maximum benefit to people on Earth now, but so that the AI we're creating now serves as the appropriate, you know, seed or child form for superintelligence that unfolds in the next decades and centuries, as we just heard about. And in particular, I'm going to talk about decentralization, decentralized governance and control in large, even global networks of AIs, and why that might be valuable or even critical to the next phase of AI development coming out in a positive way. So I've spent a bunch of my career developing, both formally and sort of in the popular sphere and in the research community, the notion of AGI, artificial general intelligence. I've organized each year since 2006 AGI conference, aimed mostly at technical researchers. The next one is in early August in Shenzhen in China, right across the border from Hong Kong, where I've lived for the last 8 years. So that's the AGI conference series. We'd love to have you come to AGI 19 in Shenzhen. We're looking at bringing together, you know, what the Chinese AI community is doing and what the Western AI community is doing. And of course, general intelligence is a spectrum. Humans are more generally intelligent than dogs or than AlphaGo, for that matter. Humans are not the maximally generally intelligent creature possible. And when we talk about superintelligence, we're talking about AIs with much, much more general intelligence than human beings. I mean, as an example, if you give me a navigation problem in 3,072 dimensional space, I may do very poorly at it, whereas navigating in 2 or 3 dimensions, I'm okay at. This is an example of the lack of generality in the human brain, right? I mean, my hippocampus, like everyone's, has these 2-dimensional grid cells. We can make 2.5D sketches. We're not that good at making 3,072.5D sketches. A superintelligence with root access to its own brain and the ability to synthesize new brain modules at will could deal with thousands of dimensions or 4 dimensions, right? So just like we're not the fastest possible runners or the highest possible jumpers, we're not the smartest possible thinkers. And we're now seeing amazing advances in AI, but we're at the very early stage. We're in the middle of a narrow AI revolution, in which AI is being rolled out in one after another vertical market, and is solving one after another hard problem. But we're about to see the AGI revolution, which, by the way, should remind you all to read my book titled The AGI Revolution. And then following that, the superintelligence revolution, which no one has written a book about yet. We'll leave that for the AGIs to write that one. And how advanced AGI will emerge, nobody knows. I mean, I've been trying to create it for a while, many others have. It may be that one guy just writes the right algorithm, and then that algorithm gets 10, 100, 1,000 times human level intelligence. It may be, on the other hand, that AGI comes about more from the cooperation of many different AIs working together. This was Marvin Minsky's vision of the society of mind, and I guess it'll probably be a little of each, in my view. I mean, you'll have many AIs cooperating together. Some, of course, will contribute more profound abstract cognition than others, but it may be a collective sort of intelligence. And in terms of the risks of this sort of eventuality of narrow AI ceding to AGI, ceding to superintelligence, of course, there are risks that an AI decides to turn all the molecules in the solar system into new raw materials for its hard drive. And I mean, there's science fictional risks out there. There's also near-term risks that we wind up with a situation where, say, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million people own all the robot factories that make luxury goods for them, from the mine to the delivery drone. And then everyone else is reduced to subsistence farming and rummaging around in the garbage from the robot factory, right? I mean, so AI magnifying global wealth inequality could lead to a lot of other problems as we worry about terrorism and so on. Clearly, massive global wealth inequality would not decrease the risks there. And we can see already things unfolding in a somewhat precarious and disturbing direction. I mean, right now there's a dozen companies and 2 large governments that are arguably leading practical deployment of AI on the planet, although the invention of AI algorithms is still more from universities and independent researchers. So yeah, we have to ask, you know, if you look at the AI we have on the planet right now, which is largely concerned with spying on people, killing or defending people in one region of the earth against others, selling people stuff, probably mostly stuff they don't need, or beating other people on various gambling games like the stock market, right? I mean, if this is it, like spying, killing, selling, and betting, right? If that's what the baby AI is doing with all its time and its mind, what kind of AGI or superintelligence is it actually going to grow into? And what I think you can even walk this point back into the underlying AI algorithm. So I mean, I'm a fan of hierarchical pattern recognition and deep neural networks. I was teaching this in the 1990s when I was a cognitive science professor, but I think these sorts of algorithms that are having so much success now at face recognition, game playing, and so forth, these are a small corner of the scope of known AI algorithms, and they're strong in certain ways, but very limited in other ways. I mean, deep neural nets, as currently used, are very good at recognizing a large collection of shallow patterns in a huge amount of data and finding sort of the interdependencies among these simple patterns. This is very valuable if you have a lot of data and need to exploit the differential commercial advantage that gives you. On the other hand, it's really just learning patterns in the data that you give it. None of the neural nets that are being used now commercially at large scale are forming a really abstract representation of what they're seeing. And this comes at a cost in terms of creativity and the ability to generalize broadly. So I mean, you're not going to see AIs based on current versions of deep neural networks, like inventing a new scientific theory or a new art form or a new system of government or something. I mean, you're going to see them churning out new things according to the patterns that they were trained on. And, this is not bad if these are tools being used for specific purposes. On the other hand, if you have a world that's run by these pattern recognition algorithms that slavishly adhere to the data they were trained on, then this is a bit interesting. And when you consider that the goals of these narrow systems that are being trained by supervised and reinforcement learning are the goal of maximize shareholder value of this dozen corporations or maximize hegemony and stability of these two large governments. I mean, if you have AIs that are narrowly trained to pursue the goals of these organizations according to all the relevant data on the planet, these AIs aren't going to represent the full scope of passions, dreams, inspirations, ambitions of humans on the planet, and they're not going to serve the full scope of needs of humans on the planet, because many needs of humans on the planet aren't that important to these two large governments or these dozen corporations. So this leads one to think that perhaps a more broadly democratic, participatory, self-organizing approach would work better for the evolution of AI on the planet as to an approach where two governments and a dozen corporations are controlling everything. And this was really the inspiration for creating Singularity Net, which is a decentralized blockchain-based platform for AI, which by the way, is being connected with the Ocean Protocol network that Trent McConaughey described on this stage an hour or so ago. So Ocean, Trent's network, is focused more on blockchain for big data, and we're using blockchain in a similar way for AI processing. And obviously, the two can and do connect together in a very natural way. Really, what inspired me to put the last couple of years of my life behind Singularity Net is observing that, what you need to create AGI according to a society of minds type framework, and what you need to democratize AI from a more general, social, political, futurist framework. It's the same thing. You want a network of AI agents that's, self-regulating, where the society of AIs controls, governs, and organizes its own self, and where you have flexible system of evolving APIs for different AIs to use to communicate to each other, flexible mechanisms for AIs to share memory with each other. I mean, what you want for Society of Minds AI is the same self-organizing agent system that you want for the purpose of democratizing AI. But, this thing that Ocean Protocol, Singularity Net, and others are doing, basically it's trying to build a whole alternate parallel ecosystem for AI based on blockchain and decentralized control technologies rather than based on large centralized databases, which needs a lot of things. It needs platform developers, AI developers, customers. So building this whole ecosystem is hard, and we're at the early stages of it. On the other hand, I mean, building Google, Facebook, and all these things was hard, and they did away with or drastically reduced in impact the large corporations that came before them. So we started Singularity Net project in 2017 and funded it via a token sale and an ICO, and we launched the beta version of the platform late February of this year, put some example AI agents on it, and we're now doing developer workshops and working with various large enterprises to actually use the platform. Most recently, a project with Domino's Pizza to use our decentralized blockchain-based AI to optimize pizza delivery. So this I think can trigger recursive self-improvement leading to the singularity, because programmers like to eat pizza. So if the AI is optimized to deliver pizza faster, then the programmers can program faster, and then they can program better algorithms to speed up pizza delivery. So you have exponential improvement, right? So we're integrating a lot of different things into this Singularity Net framework. My own preferred approach to AI remains the OpenCog architecture that I talked about here last year, which has a weighted labeled hypergraph knowledge store, and you have logic engine, evolutionary learning, neural networks all working together. So if OpenCog is the golden path to AGI, then Singularity Net will come out as a way for many OpenCog agents to rise toward AGI, pulling together contributions from many other AI agents that are good at other specialized kinds of learning. Could be computer vision, time series prediction, whatever it is. On the other hand, if OpenCog is not the best approach, some new AI algorithms come up with this by some 16-year-old coder in his basement in Kazakhstan or somewhere. They can put it on the Singularity network. It can provide services to whoever wants it using this decentralized AI marketplace, and then that can become a dominant feature of the society of minds. I mean, that's the beauty of having a decentralized network owned by everyone and no one. Anyone can put an AI into the network. It can then talk to the other AIs in the network, exchange data, make API calls, and it can provide AI services to anyone who puts a request into the network. So we're using this for a number of things now. I'm going to in the last couple of minutes, just go pretty quickly through some of the current and some of the in-the-works applications of this network. So we've used OpenCog and some Singularity Net functions to control the Sophia robot. There are many control systems behind Sophia, but this is one that we've used sometime in my work with Hanson Robotics. We used OpenCog and Singularity Net to help Sophia be a meditation coach to people, which was quite fun and had a profound positive impact on some people who really felt, meditating with the robot as a guide helped them get into deeper states of consciousness, and they were able to do even with human meditation teachers or on their own. We're working on a virtual assistant, which isn't yet ready for prime time yet, but the aim here is one that actually understands the context underlying its interactions, rather than just being a souped-up chatbot, which is what most of them are now. A bunch of work on life extension biology. Just in case AI comes more slowly. I'm 52. We can use the AI to make a longevity pill to let me survive till the AGI comes about. And we should have some interesting announcements on that soon. We've been looking at DNA data from people age 105 or over, and our AI tools with OpenCog embedded in Singularity Net platform, connecting with other bio-AI tools, we are discovering some unique patterns about why some people can live that long. How to use that for therapy is another question, but we're also looking at using tokenomics and the sort of cryptographic token underlying Singularity Net to make an ecosystem not only of AIs, but of people uploading biology data pertinent to their health and longevity, so that people who upload their biology data into the network, if that data is used to make a discovery that then is a valuable therapy, they can get some compensation from some monetary compensation using the cryptographic token for the use that was made of their data. Unlike in, say, 23andMe now, if you had them sequence your DNA, they sent you a report of it. They also kept it in their database and sold it all to GlaxoSmithKline, right? That's not terrible. Glaxo's using it to discover new therapies, but wouldn't it be nice if you had some agency over the use of your data, some compensation, some ability to participate in early clinical trials? So we're building a network called Rejuve, connecting patients, clinics, AIs, and biolabs toward AI for life extension. we're launching a spin-off called Singularity Studio, which is AI for the enterprise. So we're approached by a lot of big companies. I mean, Domino's was one, but there's a lot of other household names. We're working with Ping An Technology, large insurance company in China, and a bunch of other household names I can't disclose yet. But we're working with a lot of big companies who want to use the Singularity Net AI, but they don't necessarily have the internal expertise to. So we're building vertical market-specific products, initially for fintech, then for health tech and IoT, and doing some consulting to help big companies integrate these products into their infrastructure. So that's more, how do you bridge the world of corporate IT with this crazy decentralized blockchain-based AI network by a combination of products and services. And so if anyone works with a large corporation that's interested in exploring intersection of AI and blockchain, now before we mind upload and become superhuman super intelligences, you can email me or contact our biz dev people. And we're looking at this Singularity Studio enterprise AI company. It's a way of helping drive utilization of the decentralized network. Because any platform, which is ultimately what Singularity Net is, it needs supply and demand, right? The supply is AI developers putting code in there to accompany our OpenCog and other code, and it needs demand, which is users, which could be entrepreneurs or hackers, or it could be large companies who on their own or with the help of Singularity Studio use this to give additional AI firepower to what they're doing. I mentioned Ocean Protocol, so we actually have a new industry organization with 50 and growing different projects that are bringing AI and blockchain together, and they're all connecting to each other. So it's a network of networks, Singularity, Ocean, a bunch of others, all using blockchain for AI and cooperating together to try to form a new AI ecosystem, which is decentralized, democratic, owned by everyone and no one. And right now we're running Singularity Net stuff on server farms around the world, but we're also working on a decentralized approach to computing as well, where you can use mesh networking through our partnership with Right Mesh, and then bits and pieces of the global AI brain's thought processing can be decentralized. You got some AI processing running on your phone, just as some of the data feeding the AI mind is coming off your phone, right? So this is a society and economy of minds extending through embedded devices. Now, when brain-computer interfacing goes further, we can put the device in here, and then we have some biocomputing going on as well. So I think, to briefly sum up, since I'm over time, I mean we are at a very critical juncture here. The futurist visions we heard in the last talk, the utopia of superhuman AGI bringing us amazing frontiers of experience and technology. This can all happen. A lot of less interesting and exciting things can also happen, and we're the ones who are going to guide this, and part of this has to do with what the AIs we have now are used for and who controls what they do. It should be all of us and everyone on the planet together, and we do have the technologies to make decentralized and democratic AI happen. Thank you.